What is good, Joe? Welcome back to the Pro. Welcome back to a brand new video, guys. It is not often that I do a double upload in a day, but we have a lot of news to get through. A lot of stuff came out today. A lot of news regarding Jimmy Butler, news regarding Tyler Herro, and a lot of other relevant news that we have to go through for free agency and the offseason, because that's where we are right now. We're obviously no longer in the playoffs, so we got to go through a lot of stuff. So make sure you guys stick around till the end of the video. This is a really, really important video, so I do not want you guys to miss out any important information. Go check out the previous video as well. I kind of did a breakdown as to what really went wrong for the Miami Heat, and it's kind of like a time lapse or timeline as to what exactly went wrong for the team from the beginning of last offseason all the way up to yesterday's game where we got kicked out of the playoffs. So let's get right into it. Make sure y'all drop a like, subscribe, comment down below. On the road to 3K. Today's video, we're going to be talking about two main topics. We're going to be talking about Jimmy Butler's extension, possible extension. We're going to be talking about Tyler Herro and the comments made about him by Udonis Haslem and other members that have high regard in the Heat's front office. So as we see, Jimmy Butler, we have seen throughout today that there's been reports coming out from Miami Herald saying that Jimmy Butler is seeking a 2-year extension, and that extension would be a 2-year, $113 million extension. Now, he obviously is a free agent next year with the player option, so this extension request would basically erase that second remaining season of his current contract, which is exactly a player option for next year, and it would just add another couple of million to it. So basically we're going to be paying him half of the salary next season and half of the salary the year after that if we were to give him this extension. So this extension would end in, I believe, 2027. I believe 2027 would be, because 2026 is the first year, and then 6 to 7 is the second year. So basically, Jimmy Butler right now is 34 years old. He would be getting, a ton of money up till he's 38. So just assume that is what the extension holds. Now, basically what this extension is it's an extension, fully guaranteed contract, so no options, nothing like that. It's fully guaranteed money all the way up till he's 38 years old on this team. And the big topic has been, should the Heat extend Jimmy or should the Heat, not extend Jimmy? There was also a report that came out saying that if Jimmy did not get his extension, that he would be disgruntled. And that also came, from the Miami Herald. Butler and his camp are expected to push for that extension before the upcoming season, and not offering him this extension this offseason could lead to a disgruntled Butler. That is word for word from the post, from the report from the Miami Herald on this. So this is very, very big. This is extremely big because obviously the Heat are not the most, they're not the most cap-free team. They have a lot of cap wrapped up in a lot of players. They have a lot of money, salary that they're giving to a lot of guys, so they don't really have the most money left. But Jimmy Butler's extension, they can make work. So do I believe they should give him this extension is a very, very big question. And this is a very divisive question. Honestly, I don't really mind if anybody says no or anybody says yes. It's really up to you what you believe. In my opinion, and again, this is only my opinion, I'm paying him whatever he wants. I'm paying him and giving him whatever he wants. This man has carried us on his back for multiple playoff appearances, playoff runs, finals runs. I'm rewarding him with a contract. I'm rewarding him with an extension. This will give him a perfect opportunity to play in Miami till he's about 38, and I expect him to call it a career after that. So this is kind of his last, this is his last contract. Forget big. This is his last contract, and I believe I want to see him retire as a Miami Heat player, and I want it to end in Miami with Jimmy, because I feel like he just embodies the franchise as a whole. He's the face of the team, and there is no Miami Heat without Jimmy Butler today. So because of that, I would give him whatever he wants, and I would make him and Bam Adebayo the priority. So Bam Adebayo is already locked up for multiple seasons. I would have Jimmy Butler locked up as well until 2027, where he would probably call it a career after that. So people will say, I don't want him getting $50 million at age 37. That's a fair point, and I can understand why you don't want him to get that money at age 37. But my point of view and my perspective of this whole thing is, If we pay him what he wants, to forget the money, forget the contract, forget the years. If we win a championship this year or the next year, because obviously this is a 2-year extension, so if we win a championship in the next 2 seasons, then what does that mean? That means the money doesn't really matter. That means what we paid Jimmy Butler, the contract, the amount of money, the length, none of that means anything. Nobody's looking at his contract if we win a championship. All, the possible repercussions on giving him the contract can be erased if we win a ring. And I think with Jimmy Butler on this team and him and Bam as, 2 of the top 3 players on a championship team, I think they can get it done. They're just missing the third guy, and they've been missing the third guy since this team was put together. So if they trade for the third guy, which I expect for them to be aggressive, especially Jimmy's last years, he's 34, so it's gonna be this his last stretch of his career. I don't expect him to play until he's 40. I think he's gonna be one of the guys who calls it a career at 37, 38, 36, probably not 36, probably 37 or 38. And I think he has still a lot left in the tank. He's a really good player when he wants to be. I feel like he was slowed down by injuries this season and obviously what happened with his knee, but I hope he recovers fully, and he's going to be back on this team next season regardless of extension or no extension. He's not a free agent this season. He's a free agent next year. So that's what I'm saying. I think we should give him the extension, get that out of the way. Obviously Bam is already here. He's here to stay. Have both of them. You have both of these guys for at least 3 years together. And then you figure out who's going to be the rest of your team. Tyler Herro, I feel like it has to start with him. It has to start with him getting traded because for financial purposes, if you give Jimmy Butler this extension, it doesn't really make sense for me to give Tyler Herro $30 million a year. If we're going to invest this money into Jimmy Butler, I would rather pay somebody who provides more with lesser money. So Tyler Herro's making $30 million. He's a good player, but I think you can find better players who are making similar money or less money than $30 million. So because of that, I would expect and want the Heat to ship off Tyler Herro if they give Jimmy Butler this extension. Now, if they don't, then I don't think Tyler Herro is going to go anywhere. This is what I believe. I don't have any sources on this. I don't have any no sources at all. This is just literally just me just talking right now. I believe that if Jimmy Butler gets the extension, then there is a big chance Tyler is traded. But if Jimmy Butler does not get the extension, I believe they're going to be, giving Jimmy Butler, this is going to be Jimmy Butler's last year, or potentially second to last if he accepts his player option or not. And they're going to go into a retool with the younger guys, and they're probably going to keep Tyler. So I think Jimmy Butler's extension is very directly related to the direction that the Heat go in. If they give him the extension, it's kind of a sign that they want to win right now and that they're ready to go all in, because they're going to be paying him a lot of money at a very high age. But if they don't give him this extension, it's kind of a sign that, we're going to be going into more of a future type of retooling. And Jimmy, we're going to get whatever we can out of you for this last season. And then obviously, you have a player option at the end of the year. We could even move you, at the end of the year or during the season to make sure we don't lose you out for nothing if you decline that player option. But if not, if you accept the player option, we'll probably get rid of you next year. That's what the message I get is. Now, regarding the future of Tyler Herro, I saw on NBA Today, Udonis Haslem was on there and he was talking to Kendrick Perkins, and he was like, for Tyler, he's great as a sixth man. He won the sixth man of the year. That's a great role for him. We are better when we have Duncan Robinson in our starting lineup, making plays and being that trigger for us and spraying and creating for other guys. Word for word, Udonis Haslem said this about Tyler Herro. I am very shocked that Udonis Haslem said this. Not saying I disagree. I agree completely. I mean, I've been clamoring about this for the whole season. You guys can go look at all my videos, and I was talking about why Duncan Robinson should start over Tyler Herro, but a lot of people weren't trying to hear it back then. I'm glad people are coming around to that right now. But I'm so shocked that Udonis Haslem said this on national TV. Udonis Haslem has a job with the Heat. He works, I believe, in their player development. He works with them. He has a job with the Heat doing something. I believe it's player development or something like that. So it's not like he's completely away from the team. I mean, I believe he was in the locker room when the Heat were playing the Celtics just this past series, he was in the locker room for multiple games. So for him, who's this close with the team and who has a position with them, saying this about Tyler Herro means something to me. I don't think he would just go up there randomly and say stuff. This might just be me speculating, guys. I might just be, just making up stuff. But to me, Udonis Haslem has never gone out on TV and said any of this before. Anytime he's been asked about Tyler Herro, he's always talked about, he's in the same tier as Luka. I agree with everything he says. He's been backing him up, which is completely fine. That's your teammate. You back him up, that's fine. But for him to say this, which is completely true, by the way, but him to say this so soon after they lost the series, to me, it means something. I don't know. I think it does. Because this is a shot at Tyler Herro. I mean, it shouldn't be, and it's not a shot at Tyler Herro, but Tyler Herro will take it as a shot. Because Tyler Herro wants to start. And for him to say Duncan Robinson is better in the starting lineup for the Heat, Tyler Herro will take that as a shot. Which means I see I could potentially see some rift between the organization and Herro. If Udonis Haslem is saying this has to be something that, he's not just saying this as a coincidence. I believe there's something behind this. That's what I'm saying. So I know there's been a lot of smoke in the past about Herro getting moved. I think if there's a year that he gets moved, it's this season, man. It's this offseason. I think, obviously his value is lower than it ever was probably right now. But if you're talking about where he stands with the team, I mean, I think especially after where we finished, I think he has to get moved, especially if you're talking about giving Jimmy Butler his extension. So that's why I brought this up as well, because these two are all very related. They're all related, I believe. So that was very interesting to me. The fact that Udonis Haslem went on national TV and said that on ESPN, that was really, really eye-opening for me. I'm really surprised he said it, but I don't disagree to the slightest at all. So I do think, I do think there's a good chance he gets traded. Not that this was like a big eye-opener for me, but I already believed that there was a chance, but this just reinforced it even more. Last thing I want to talk about, Terry Rozier. I've seen people on Twitter saying that the Rozier deal was a disaster. Bro, it's been... How many games did Terry Rozier play in a Miami Heat uniform? How many games? We traded for him late January, and as a Miami Heat player, I'm pretty sure he played very limited games because he was injured twice. I remember he was injured once when he sprained something or twisted something against Boston, his knee or his hamstring, something like that. And then he, obviously missed time because of his neck injury. But he played 31 games in Miami. In 31 games, Terry Rozier averaged 16 points per game, 5 assists and 4 rebounds in 31 games. And this is in a new role. And this is taking a spot of Kyle Lowry, who was atrocious for this team. I don't think people understand how bad Kyle Lowry was this season. He was terrible for the Miami Heat. It's too soon to talk about Terry Rozier and whether it was a failure or a success. I'm glad the Heat made the move. I'm glad they did, because otherwise they would have lost out on Kyle Lowry for absolutely nothing. He was an expiring contract. So they had to trade him. People are going to be talking about we could have saved the assets. We only gave up a pick. That's it. There's one pick. And that pick is going to be 2029. And again, I'm not really fussed about that pick. Kyle Lowry was an expiring contract. He had to go. Otherwise, we would have lost on him for nothing. I'm glad we made that trade. I'm standing on that 10 toes down. I don't care. It's been too early to decide and make judgments about whether Terry Rozier's trade was a success or not. I don't get that whatsoever. So, yeah, I don't like people judging Terry Rozier off of 30 games when he was injury riddled for those games, man. It doesn't matter, because he was hooping, by the way, bro. Before the neck injury, he was hooping. He was averaging like 27 a game. So yeah, I mean, listen, we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about as far as the Tyler Herro, Jimmy Butler whole saga as the offseason goes on. So we're gonna save some of that for future videos, but I did want to give you guys a whole breakdown as to the news reports and everything that's going on behind the articles that have been put out there by Miami Herald, and obviously Udonis Haslem going on NBA Today. all that, you know, I did want to talk about. So make sure you guys, again, leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts as to what you guys believe is going to happen with Jimmy Butler, what you guys would do in regards to Jimmy Butler, if you guys would give him the extension, if you guys wouldn't. What would you guys do in regards to Tyler Herro? Do you think Terry Rozier trade was not a good trade? What do you think about Udonis Haslem's comments? And last but not least, please go check out my last video about what went wrong for the Heat this season. It's a really good one. I recommend any of you guys to check it out. And yeah, man, we're gonna wrap it up there, man. I'll see y'all later as always.